Okay, we're running 3 minutes late, but never mind. Right, folks, we are going to talk about the most important thing of anything that we do, and it's prospecting. Okay, I have done this before, but I'm doing it again because when I'm seeing partners come in, I'm seeing many of them that are completely unsuitable. I don't know why they've been recruited, honestly. So, I'm going to go through a few basic things. Okay. If some of this pinches, I'm sorry, it's the truth. Okay. I can't do anything but the truth. So, prospecting is not looking for customers, it's not looking for partners, it's looking for people that are ultimately looking for something that is going to help their lives. And by the way, saving or making money does both of those things. Yeah. I never think to myself, this is going to be a customer. Because if you start thinking like that, you've just dismissed lots of people from the chance to earn a lot of money. Okay. Thankfully, Mr. Barris, and I will always go back to him, he didn't think of me like that. He very kindly gave me the chance of this opportunity. And I have to say this on record. I'm forever in his debt, really. I look back and think it would have been so ghastly if I had never been offered. I don't know where I'd be now. And it's a very auspicious day today because it is now 12 years ago today that I lost my dear husband, Chris. So it's kind of a bit of a funny old day for me today. You know, when things go wrong, do you notice they happen in threes, just like good things happen in threes? And I feel like everything's happening to me today. So I want to upbeat this and I want to say to you, this works. It's just that sometimes we don't know how to work. And that's the truth. We kind of we bat our ball in any field and we shouldn't be. Thank you. We bat our ball in any field and we shouldn't be. We should be quite open but vigilant to who could possibly do this. Now, look, without me getting very political, they've got to have a circle of life in the UK where there's lots of homeowners. That's number one. My God, if they've only just got into this country in the last 3 to 6 months, no way. It's not going to happen in a million years, I promise you. It really isn't going to happen. If all they know is tenants, it's not going to happen. They're not going to earn any money. They've got to be established. Now, what does established mean? Well, it means they're part of the community. Yeah. Um, that they feel they belong, that they can talk to people. They don't necessarily have to have English as their first language, but my God, they need to be part of it. And there are some areas of my business, there's that many tenants coming in that nobody's earning any money. And I'm sorry, if they're not earning money, they're going to go. It's fact. Let's get it out of the way. You bring in a tenant as a customer, okay? No upfront bonuses, no higher activity bonuses, no FEC, no achiever points, no incentives, no holidays. How many more no's? No cars, all right? All of it is no. I'm livid with the company for bringing in this extra 150 for them to have on their cashback card because it gave the wrong message. What they did, they left it to us, the leaders, to police, which I think was terribly unfair. I mean, what did they expect if they go and announce something like that and then don't underpin it with a caveat to say, well, actually, what we really want you to do is carry on bringing in homeowners because they're the customers that are sticky. They're the ones that have solidity, pay their direct debits month after month, year after year. That's what we're looking for. So if you're prospecting, you've got to be sure that somebody has got some chance of reaching out to people in that ilk. And if they don't know anyone personally, if they're personally not a homeowner, They've got to have the ability and be coachable to be able to reach out to those where there are homeowners. Now, there's a very good couple. They're not on here, and that is Jim and Annette Lancaster. It's Annette that mostly does it now. These two, they don't own their own home. They've been tenants, but she realised that if she did business networking, if she did 20Ks, if she did neighbour letters, you can reach out and you can get those people. Yeah. So you've got to have that ability in you to be coachable and to realize you are already starting off on a back foot. You haven't got this. I mean, if anyone's in Shelley Barker's group chat, right, that she's in, she's a homeowner. She seriously business network. She knows loads of homeowners. She's meeting people that are entrepreneurial. They are the homeowners. She's bringing in folk all the time that are homeowners. She's earning so much money, and the people she brings in own money. Because if you bring somebody in and they do 1, 2, 3 customers like that in the space of, say, a week or two, straight away you're saying to them, well, you've just earned 250 or maybe 300. And guess what? If they do 3 of them like that, oh, well, actually, you're actually earning an extra £50 on top of that. Oh, and as soon as you hit 4 in a calendar month, now you're earning an extra £100. Is that not going to give people drive? Of course it is. They're going to really go. All right. So what I feel is you've got to ask some serious questions. And I went through this and I'm going to do it again today. Have your pens and paper ready or stick a thing on record, whatever. They must be able to answer these questions. And if you aren't spending the time to bother to do this with them, well, then you are not treating this seriously. You're not just looking for, Shelley said it to me earlier, you're not just looking for an extra point when they do their training, recruiting. That is not building a business. All we are doing, if we're doing that, is wasting our time. We want to work smart, not hard. Is that true? Yes, of course it is. Right. So first of all, top question. Their status. What are they? Are they single? What's their age? Are they married? Are they in a relationship? Do they work? What is their work? What do they currently do? If somebody tells you I've been out of work for more than 12 months, oh, do you know what? I would question that. And some would say, don't be so harsh, Lisa. No, I'm serious. In all my life, I have never been out of work for more than 1 day. Now, let me tell you, when I came out the police force and made the decision to resign, and there was no way I was going back, I immediately took my CV the very next morning that I came back to Bournemouth, and I went down to something called Manpower. Some of you old enough will know who I'm on about. And I gave my CV, and the first thing they said was, oh, you're far too qualified. And so I ripped it up in front of them and said, right, forget that. I want to work. Whether it's cleaning toilets, I preferably would like to work in an office environment, right? I'm looking to see if I can work in an office environment because I've never done it. I've always been in a kind of management role in the police force, but I'm out to, I said, whatever it is, send me there. I want to work. I do not want to be sat at home twiddling my thumbs the very next day I started work. Now, that is attitude, and that is what you're looking for. True? Yes, of course it is. So here we go. Top 20 questions. Are you ready? Number 1. Do you like your work? If they've been out of work for 6 months and you ask that question, they say, oh, well, I haven't worked for 6 months. What did you used to do? Did you like it? Oh, no, not really. Oh, why? Why? Be like my little grandson, who's 2.5. All he asks now is why. Sometimes it's almost infuriating, But that's how youngsters learn. And we need to get ourselves to be like children. Yeah. So who do you work for? Are you earning what you are worth? Wow, that's a power loaded question. Most people will look at that. To be honest, if there's not much between the ears, it will mean nothing to them. Because what we're talking about is, do they think they are valued? Now, I'm going to be very, very controversial and say, in my personal opinion, for what it's worth, most companies don't give a tinkers about employees. And I'm going to share with you why. Because one of my dearest friends who came to my wedding and a solicitor with the same firm of 27 years, do you know what they've just done? Ah, they didn't even do the decency of making her redundant so they would have to pay her so many weeks. No. All of a sudden, the management came in and basically announced that they were being taken over by another company. And she has now been asked to travel 60-mile round trip every day to Southampton on less money. Do you think they ever valued her? Her secretary of 14 years dismissed. I tell you what, if you're at that level of a profession and that's the way that companies, and I won't even tell you who the company was because you'll all know the name. We're talking a serious major solicitors. Honestly, you've got to say to yourself, do they value you? I am so glad I am not in a job. Really. Does your job have any chance for future advancement? There's a good one. Ask them that. Okay. Is your career challenging you? Is it challenging you enough? If you get somebody turn around and say, oh, I don't really want to be challenged, do you know what? I basically say, dismiss that person because this is going to be challenging because for the first time in their lives, they're not going to be told what to do. They've got to have a bit of ingenuity, a bit of drive, enthusiasm, determination. Yeah. What do you want to do when you are oh God, this makes me feel old. What do you want to do when you are 60? Yes, I'm 65 on Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. Where's that gone? I don't know. Do you have variety in your career? Ooh, I bet they don't. Not many. These are good questions, aren't they? I tell you what it does. Because if they answer them yes and no, you've got to then do the why, how. Yeah, got to do those questions. Yeah. And if a lot of them are very negative answers, you've got to say to yourself, why have they put up with it? I know I couldn't. Is your income sufficient to satisfy your needs? We're not on about dreams or wishes, we're on about needs. Mm. Do you get time off to do all the things that you want to do? Oh wow, what a question, eh? I think in Jobland, if I remember right, a lot of people get 4 weeks. Some are very lucky to get 5. Is that right? And then you've got to fit in around all your colleagues. You can't just have time off when you want. It, by the way, all the time it tells me I'm 100% unemployable. Are you now working at only one job? I meet lots of people that aren't. They're working lots of jobs. Okay. Are you ready for the next lot? Now we're really out to find out what person we have in front of us. Do you like teaching and talking with people, not to, at, with people. More importantly, I would say, are you inquisitive? Do you have an inquisitive nature? There's a good question. By the way, if you're getting very, very dull one word answers back, I would probably put it to you, end the interview, move on. Here we go, number 2. When you experience something exciting, do you like to talk about it with other people? Now, you and I know that's a very leading question. Yeah, because as far as I'm concerned, UW is exciting, except for when your internet goes down. Would you like to make more money and also have more tax deductions? Right. I meet people that say, oh, I'm on working. No, what is it these days? Universal credit. Oh, is it going to affect my benefits? Jeez, come on. You want it to affect your benefits, don't you? Don't you want to be earning enough money for it to affect your benefits? Crikey. If I get that, I'm almost like, because I can tell you why I feel like that. Because years ago, when my husband of my daughter left me, when she was only 16 months old, I was desperate to get back to work. But I thought to myself, she's already lost her dad, and I don't want her to be without both parents. And I made this huge decision for me, and that was she was going to have me. So for a few years, until after school childcare became available, my daughter had me and I lived in penury. I know what it is to be hard up. In fact, we were talking about it. We were reminiscing on Sunday when I had my mum with me. She can remember when, well after, about 2 years after Gina was born, I was still wearing holy maternity knickers because I couldn't afford to change them. Guys, I know what it is to be hard up. All right. In fact, my mum took me out that day and said, right, I'm buying you some decent underwear that fits, Lisa. I said, Mum, all the money has to go on Gina. Isn't that what a good parent does? Yeah, it is. But as soon as childcare became available, I was looking for work. Around me, there were other mums in a similar situation who decided no, they wouldn't because they think they'd be worse off. Oh, it's going to affect their benefits. I'm different. I was always different. So think about that one. Would you like an exciting career that makes other people happy? Do you think we make other people happy? I do. Love it. Love it. Would you like to have challenge and variety in your career? I think one of the number one reasons I love Utility Warehouse is the variety. No day is ever like another. Yeah, I love driving. I'm a driving freak. Wow, do lots of that. I like meeting new people, do masses of that. And I like challenge. I can't stand the thought of stagnating. Do you know that if you're stagnating, you aren't? You're going backwards. Are you aware of that? If your business is not growing, you're actually receding. That's a fact. Yeah. Right. Would you like to have challenge and variety in your career? So there's that question. Yeah. Would you like a career that affords you unlimited income potential? Can I tell you that question is very real and it is entirely up to us. And that, in the wrong hands, will scare the pants off some people. If that frightens them, they're not for this. Doesn't mean they can't grow, but you probably are trying to carry 2 people on your back in that one. Yes, Shalane. Can I continue this and answer at the end? because otherwise
I
I will
just
come
wanted you
back.
to repeat it. I just wanted you to repeat it. It's fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, it was. Would you like a career that affords you unlimited income potential? Number 7, does your own boss and having more free time sound interesting to you? Oh, does being your own boss? I say to folk when I recruit them, I want you to know something. There is good and bad with this. The good is you've got no boss. The bad is you've got no boss. Because I usually say things like, I've brought up 3 girls. I'm not prepared to chase around and nag you. If you can't find some ingenuity, then I'm going to be there to support, but I'm not going to be there nagging you. There are some people that after a very short time go into witness protection. Do we all know what that means?
Mm.
Hmm. They sort of silently go off air, don't they? Very interesting. All of a sudden, one minute they never stop phoning you, the next minute they don't answer your phone calls. Very interesting. Here we go. Would you like to have more people respect and admire you? Mm. With growth in this company, with building, that can happen. Some people have never known it at all. Here we go. Number 9. Would you like to travel the world? I have had people say, no, no, I don't want to go anywhere. I like where I live. I've lived here all my life. Ooh, that's going to be a hard one. Can you imagine? They'll never get excited about achiever retreats. That's never going to float their boat. Can you imagine someone that has never really traveled that far? I've had some in the old days, before remote appointments. I had somebody that said to me, oh, I've never gone 30 miles before. And I'm thinking, gee whiz, no, 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 no. And here's the last one. Would you be willing to work between 5 and 20 hours a week for the next 12 months? Now, look, if somebody can't prioritize 5 hours, there's something wrong. Are you agreed? Anyone can find 5 hours if they wish to. You just say to yourself that something else goes by the by. I do it lots. I give up things sometimes so that I can be of service to other people. We've got 168 hours each of us in our week. Good thing to do with a brand new person. Ask them how many hours they sleep. Stick down eight a day. They don't sleep that. Stick it down because you know what? It doesn't matter. Stick down whatever number of hours they're currently working. Ask them, what about shopping and stuff like that? What about, are they got children? Is there after school clubs that they're committed to? Do they go to church? Do they belong to any social clubs? By the way, if you meet somebody that doesn't do anything, never goes anywhere, doesn't know anyone, please don't sign them up. All right? All you're doing is making yourself labour. That's all you are. You're labouring under false pretenses that you're going to somehow magic and help them change their whole way of thinking and life. It's not going to happen. Right. Would you say that was a lot of questions? Yes. How long does it take? A good half an hour, as you've just seen. Possibly a bit longer because they've got to answer. If you don't afford that time to bother to interview them like this, I promise you, all you're doing is wasting your time. So I know for some people, this is a bit of a stark, like, what? Yes, this is what I do. So I don't recruit 10 people a month. but then I don't lose 10 people a month. There are some people that are recruiting like crazy, and so many go by the way. It's a bit like the old school thinking, if you throw enough against the wall, some of it will stick. No, that is old school. It doesn't work. It's crazy. If we treat people like that and we don't actually put it this way, getting a half an hour with them, bothering to interview them shows you care. If you don't do that, it's indifference. Is that not right? Means you don't give a damn. All they are is a name and a number. Oh, they'll go on my genie. Oh, if they get their training done in 7 days, I'll have another point. No, 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 no. Now, here's the next thing. They have got to be willing to switch services. If I get somebody that says, no, 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 I don't want to switch my services, I go, no, 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 you're not right for this because you can't recommend it. You'll be selling. You've got no validity. You've got no authenticity. You have no idea what it's like. You cannot recommend something that you don't have. I see lots of people with zeros. They're recruited and they're zeros. There's not even a customer themselves. That does not work. It's a hard thing to say. And some will say to me, oh, well, that's because they're living with parents. Okay, if they're young and they're living with parents, but you know what? At some point they've got a mobile phone, and surely at some point they're going to move out. What else? Why would they not have any services? Because they're a tenant and they're living in a situation where everything is with their rent. How hard is that going to be for them? Please think about it. How can they possibly be able to do this? They can't. They honestly can't. Right, unmute. Quick few questions. We got 3 minutes because we started 3 minutes late. Anybody with any questions about all of that?
May I just ask number 7 again, please? Does being your own boss and having more time for yourself make you
No. Does being your own boss and having more free time sound interesting to you?
free time?
Sound interesting to you?
Thank you.
Yeah.
My pen ran out.
Any questions? Roz, what about you? Anything there?
No, it was all really helpful. I've got pages of it here. Um, it's obviously, actually, I'm really pleased you've done this, Lisa, because so many things, you're right, you're always right, but you're righter than normal. They won't be suitable if they're not willing to change their services, if they're not prepared to do this and not prepared to do the other. So those questions that you're asking are really valid.
They are. And I will say to you, what you're doing is saving yourself lots of real heartache because you're giving your time for one thing, and then
Yeah,
it's like trying to push a piece of spaghetti up the hill with a pointy pencil. Not
yeah,
easy, yeah. Or you're dragging someone along all the time. Very, very difficult. The other thing too is I sometimes throw in what I call extras, like, do you consider that you can listen well? Because a lot of people hear, but they don't listen, and it's totally different.
mm,
Um, you know, what is the point of working with somebody if they're not coachable? Um, you will see many, many times when there's a big promotion that goes on. I think one of the things that I often see is, and they're really coachable. That's because they listen and they apply. A lot of people will hear things and they still don't apply it, and then they wonder why they don't have that success. It's really, really important. Um, and believe me, it's not easy, any of this, because what you're doing, you will have heard this expression, there's like a funnel. And what you should be doing is kind of meeting people, and lots of people going in the funnel, but very few will probably come out correct in one piece. That'll be right. Like I had some new garden furniture delivered today. Absolutely sweltering heat. Um, I had my cleaner, she was doing all the floors and everything. And I went to the door because the doorbell went, and there was a tall, slim chap who looked absolutely, bless him, he looked exhausted, and I wouldn't blame him. Lugging great big heavy items around in this heat. Where we are here, by the way, I have a temperature, and we've reached 36 today here because we get
Wow.
extremes where we are. We're in this kind of valley, and it's always hotter or colder. And I turned to him and I said, I really feel for you. Would you like a quick glass of cold water? And he looked so surprised. And he said, oh, have you got one? I said, yes. I said, just wait there because I'm going to ask a favour. And he said, are you? I said, yeah. I said, I'm nearly 65 and my husband is going to go ape if I attempt to pick those items up and move them round into our what we call our storage area. And I said, they can't stay there all day. I said, someone might come along and take them. And I said, I know it's asking you to do more. So I got him a glass of cold water, and then I went round and I opened up the gate, and we've got an area that nobody can see anything, and he put them in there. And while he was doing so, I said, thank you so much. And he said, no, it's fine. He said, I don't think I'll probably be able to do this at 65. I thought, what a leading statement. So I said to him, what do you think you'll be doing at 65? He said, I haven't got a clue. I said, how old are you now? He said, 23. I said, all right. I said, is this your career? Is this what you envisage? And he went, oh, no. I said, do you know what you want to do? He said, no, I don't, but I know it's not this. I said, oh, how would you like to think about a career where you could earn reoccurring passive royalty income? He said, what's that? So I explained royalties, and he understood that when I went through like pop stars and that. He went, yeah. He said, how do you do that? I said, well, what we do is we introduce people to our company, and we help reduce their bills so they always pay less with quality services on a simpler billing platform. We have the machinery that we're given that to do. And all we're doing is helping people actually pay less. So we're not actually selling anything. I said, then we earn an upfront income, and then further down the line, we earn this incredible passive royalty, I said, which is about 5%. And I said, I've had customers for over 20 years now. So I said, like I am today, I'm here, sat in my back garden. I said, doing bits and bobs. But I said, I'm earning money, but I'm not working. Does that sound appealing to you? He said, yeah. He said, how can I get involved? To which I said, before I decide whether you're right, and there's the posture. I said, I'll send you a couple of videos. I'd like you to watch them. I'd like you to reply. I'd like to know what you like best. And I said, then we could have a proper talk and an interview if you think that this is something that appeals to you. Now, with all the shenanigans with my internet down, do you know what? I've not been able to bloody send them. So after this, I've got to do it. But what I want to say is, even though he sounds like a willing participant, he may not be suitable. Does that make sense? Whereas I think people, if people hear people say, oh yeah, they're keen, even if they're keen, they've got to be right. Otherwise, I'm just wasting my time. And that's a different viewpoint that I think a lot of people, I think in the beginning, people are very keen to just bring in anyone. And anyone is not good enough. So I really hope that was helpful. And then what I'm going to do next week, I think I'll do a follow-on, a bit like I've done this before, but I'll do a follow-on about, right, what if now they are suitable? How do we do it? And by the way, I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face. I do not let anybody sign themselves up. I know when someone signed themselves up because I see silly things like I see surnames all in capitals. Or I see things that are like, I don't know, crazy things. And it's like, no, they were on their own. They had nobody guiding them. I actually go on Zoom and I actually sign them up and they're watching me do it. And I'm talking and I'm building rapport and learning about them. That's what's going on. And that takes time and that takes willingness. But if people are coming on board without you even present, all right, and instantly verification, order the ID card. Are you aware they will not earn a single penny until they've ordered their ID card? If you're not aware of that, they earn nothing, zero. Okay, this stuff is majorly important. Guys, I hope that's been useful. And same time, same place next week. It will be the 2nd of June.
I shall be in Portugal.
Oh, the very next day we'll be going back to Summer Lodge where we got married.
Oh, that's nice.
So guys,
Look after yourself, Lisa.
Yeah, hopefully the internet will get sorted. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.